I am doing vlog of the day, and it's such a beautiful day. It's kind of cloudy, and everybody is in their houses and doing their work at home, and we're like in a COVID situation. It's pretty serious, and there's just a lot going on in that world. But right now I just want to talk about being an artist. And when this whole thing hit, you know, artists are like always in quarantine. So they're like, how do you feel being in quarantine? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, kind of like I've always been in that situation. In fact, I'm like, finally, yay! Everybody just feels the way I've always felt, you know? It's just artists, they seek out those empty warehouses. Everybody's like, oh, I hate that empty warehouse. And the artist is like, oh my God, that's amazing. Look how many paintings I can put in there. So anyways, so being in quarantine is felt very natural to me. When they started closing the coffee shops, that's when I was like, oh hell no. What am I gonna do? No coffee? And but interestingly enough, they all managed to stay somewhat open. It's like you can have a pandemic, but you can't close the coffee house, all right? Close the churches and close the bars, but don't close the coffee. So okay, so if I have like painting, you know, canvas, paints, a good book, and coffee, I'm like, I don't see any difference. Anyways, I know it's a serious thing, and so I don't really want to talk too much about it. Just sending love to everybody that's going through stuff. I know it's intense for the whole world. Anyways, what I've been doing is launching my publishing company, and it's just like I have thousands. It's like the most tedious, boring thing on the planet, man. I have like thousands of images that I'm just like going through. I'm like, God, could it get any more tedious and boring? It's like, oh my gosh, she's an artist. She must be having so much fun. It's like, no. I'm hanging out and doing stuff on Photoshop and like making sure everything's completely super clean. It's hard work. Luckily, I photographed everything really well as I was going to the shows for like years and years and years, but there's some of them that I didn't photograph properly, and then I have to like redo it. So that's kind of like the thing that happens with artists, is like you have to learn how to photograph your work. Can't have glare. It can't. You can't do it in the sun. You can't be too dark. There can't be shadows. It's like they teach you all of that stuff in art school, but still, you know, like my grandmother, she kept a log, but it was like a handwritten log, and no one really kept good records, and so her paintings are everywhere. And I've done the same. I think like the first half of my career, I just didn't even sign it. I was like, why sign it? I was like doing this little secret with myself, like, it's just great the way it is. Just put it out into the universe. I don't need my name to be known. I don't need to have anybody know that I painted that. Let's just be egoless about it. And then like, after like 10 years, I'm like, man, I painted a lot of paintings without a signature. I'm so screwed. Look. Oh, the things that we do, you know, in the name of no ego. Just paint that painting and just let it go. You know, it's like children have like a last name, right? You give your child like a proper name. You don't just have a child or like, my child is nameless. Nameless, come here, nameless. So, you know, when people say, oh God, artists have such a great ego. Like, look, trust me, I really tried to work hard on not having an ego. I really worked hard on it, and it didn't work out for me. Because now I have thousands of paintings out there without my name on them. So I learned, and then I started to like thumbprint everything. And that was even more intense because there's no way to really track, you know. The whole thing about the art career for me for a long time was just, you can't really track it. You can't track. And then my dad and I were like, well, why don't we just put, you know, like computer chips in the paintings and stuff. And like there's people that have done that, and still that's not complete. Like it's a science that's not there completely like readily available. So the signature was something that I could control, and then the thumbprint was something that I could control, and then the certificate. But I just worked with auction houses that were like doing everything, like crossing every T and dotting every I for me, you know, and I was like, oh, thank you. You know, artists need other people that are really good at that kind of stuff. And that's why you work with professionals and you hire professionals, and then you network, you know. And then I was always kind of business savvy. I was a businesswoman. I just had I could wrap my head around it, and I knew that what I had to do. What I didn't, I've done a lot of mistakes and stuff, but for instance, like, I didn't want to sell limited editions. I wanted to sell open editions, because there's been some artists that have gotten in a lot of trouble selling limited editions when they were open. And I thought, man, I just don't want to be in an unethical situation like that, where somebody comes back 20 years later and says, well, I thought this was a limited edition, and, you know, this person has 500 and I have 200, and you told me it was 200, stuff like that. So I've been pretty ethical in that way, and I just sell open editions. There's no, right now, if I ever do like a seriograph or like a numbered edition, I'll just make sure that it's very numbered and keep it that way. And that's something that I learned about with Dali, what happened with him on his deathbed. Like, they gave him like 100 sheets of paper to sign, and they were empty. So a lot of things, there's a lot of fraud in the art world, and it's difficult to stay and maintain to stay in an ethical stream. And, you know, like, I dabbled in everything, but like, I just stuck true to what was like what felt right, and what felt right to me was hard work and smart, working harder and smarter at the same time. So like launching the publishing company is like 25 years of photographing the work properly, which isn't cheap, right? So some of the shows, you know, I don't want to talk the money, but you definitely had to be on top of everything. And there's so many paintings that went by, that slipped through, that I didn't photograph. There's nothing I could do about it. It's just I didn't have the money to photograph 100 paintings. So I tried to photograph the A's, or just like keep stuff near, but there's just so much stuff. But now what's happening is a lot of those things are coming back to me, and people are sending me images of stuff that I did, and that's always great. So yeah, like the life of a career, the life of an artist is just, it can be messy, man. And I've tried to like maintain organization, and I've been organized, and my dad organized a lot of stuff for me and my brother, and I've had really good teachers that help me organize, and a lot of success has to do with organization. So launching a publishing company is all about organization. It's just the organized artist, in the sense that you are you're being able to categorize thousands of paintings, you know, and that's kind of the mark where you go, okay, yeah, I have 6,000, you know, high resolution images, and they're all marked, they're all professionally photographed, they're all categorized with the numbers and all this different things that needs to happen to do it. So it's definitely like, oh my gosh, COVID has been like, well, I can't do anything else, I'll just work on that, right? And you can hire other people to do it, but for me, you know, I'm just gonna be like, I've done the work already, I want it done right? So I'm just gonna continue to do it this way. And it's cool because I get to publish now a lot of things that are like college artwork. It wasn't, you know, some of the stuff that was just like pretty or lyrical or romantic, it was just like, it was like a phase, but I didn't want to get stuck in that phase. And that's another thing about art and being an artist, and like finding a niche, right? And then you get known for that niche, right? So then I've always been like this Renaissance artist, and lately I'm kind of reaching into the pop Renaissance, because I always liked what Andy Warhol did, but I'm definitely classically trained and cannot get out of that. I love that. I love the Renaissance. I love Da Vinci. I love that kind of classical, you know, feel to art. So yeah, I'm excited to do it, you know. And this is just a little vlog of the day of what I'm doing every day right now in the categorizing of the artwork. And it is tedious, but there's also like a level of excitement when you work on something for 20 years, you know, like that level of excitement is like still there, you know. It's just it's just more seasoned, it's more I don't know what you call it, like it's freer. Like I've been given a license to do more free stuff, but at the same time I have less leeway to screw up. So I guess it's fun if you stay in the rules, and it's not knowing the rules that makes life miserable, right? And if you follow the rules, and I think this can be applied to any business. You know, when I read a lot of business books, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I could have done this. Oh, I should have done that. But then intuitively, I did a lot of things that were just, they were the right way to do it. But so anyways, there's a lot to be said about everything that in the art world. But this is just vlog of the day. And I'm going to start doing these vlogs again. I think it's good for other artists to see the process, and then and I'm working with other artists. I've launched my mentor page, and so I'm mentoring artists and helping them with their logos and their looks and their feel, and I'm doing the interviews still, and just like wrapping my head around all of this, plus doing my music and stuff. It's a little bit too much that you just kind of like, you're just like, I just want to go to the ocean and just like veg out and like just stare at the ocean. And I feel very blessed, you know, all my family, they're artists, and so they understand, and like the intricacies that, like, it's complicated, you know, it's a complicated situation, but it's also really, you know, it's art, it's paintings, it's prints, it's like that kind of, it's very sophisticated. So anyways, there's more vlogs to come soon, and if you want to learn more about what the art business that I'm in is doing, you can go to my my page. I'll leave a link here and just below this video, and you can check it out. I'll put all the links so that you guys can see what's going on. But yeah, and I'm gonna be doing a school as well. That's an online school, and I know a lot of people are doing it, but that's a whole other thing. It's gonna be very classically trained. All right, too much going on. But it's all in the works anyways. Just like the publishing company, it's finally coming to a fruition. So I'm happy in that space. So okay, stay safe everyone. Bye-bye.